Hi everyone. I am going to be making a necklace, maybe a bracelet, maybe some earrings that it will be using my bead ambassador bead strand, obsidian bead strand. I'm a little behind, I know, but I'm getting the hang of this. I'm still, like I said, I'm still trying to move in. My background is a little more cluttered because I'm actually getting stuff up and my craft room a lot more organized. So, anyways, what I wanted to do is I'm going to show you kind of how I brainstorm. I always like to have a theme, and I love Jesse James beads because they give me the theme. I mean, they basically help me find my thing, because I see what's there. Like especially in the strand, I have some really pretty sparkly beads. Geometric shapes, and once I find what I kind of see what I'm going to do, I then will pick out a pendant or make a tassel or, find my focal piece or pieces and then build around it. And since it's the obsidian bead strand, I thought I would add some obsidian beads as well as hematite and maybe some bone beads. We'll see. Again, this is my brainstorming phase. Some more hematine and maybe even some O-rings as spacers. I haven't decided, but I'm basing it all off of a pendant that I've had for many, many years. Yes, I'm one of those. I buy something and then I will wait years because I'll know something will like spark my inspiration for it. And this bead strand did. What was really exciting for me though is when I got my September packet, I got the Day of the Dead, and I got these super duper awesome beads that kind of fit in because I'm calling this necklace kind of the Twilight Zone. And so these kind of they're hard. I'll show you when I get it overhead. They have the twirly like lines that the Twilight Zone TV show had, and as this pendant too kind of reminded me of that. So that's why I'm going to be going with a Twilight Zone theme and sticking to my blacks, grays, and silvers. All right, see you on the bead side. Okay, so now I'm back. This is the bead side. I have already cut. I'm going to aim for a 20-inch necklace. So I've already cut some 19 strand bead along in silver. It's stringing wire. It's very bendy and everything. It's not wrapping wire. That's the important thing, especially if you're new to beading. The way I first start out is I always start out by laying my pendant. It's going to be first, and then I start experimenting with what I have. And I know I'm kind of like obsessive about everything being in their own little pile. Sorry, my little OCD behavior. I like everything to be organized because my brain isn't always necessarily that organized. All right, so this is going to be my pendant. I'm going to make sure I have the side up that I want. See, this is the back, and it's pretty cool, but the soldering and everything's back here. So this is going to be my front, which I was attracted to. Then here are the Jesse James beads. So here are the the beads from the Day of the Dead packet. I'm trying to get it so you can see it. Forgive me, I'm trying to look and do this at the same time. But they have those little twirly stripes on them. Hopefully you can see them. But they're really cool. And actually they fed into what I had planned, so that, I mean, I had decided on my theme before I got these beads, so that was really cool for me. It was like, yes, you read my mind, Jesse James Beads. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is, I always like, and when I taught jewelry classes, I always talked about how, you know, you look at the whole, and so you have to think about what it is you're going to be putting up against this pendant. So this pendant is a good size pendant. So I would not, for my taste, I would not put a big old bulky bead up against it. Number one, it just kind of detracts from the pendant itself, or takes away from it. But it also is big and bulky, and it wouldn't lay very well, wouldn't lay right. So I'm going to be focusing on finding something that's just kind of subtle, that will sit nicely. And these beads are exactly what I had in mind. Once I get it on and start stringing it, which actually I'm going to start doing this. Now, this is one thing I want to talk about. Again, I used to be a classroom teacher at Michael's, and in jewelry classes, and you will go online and you'll see people who swear by working off the spool. You know, they string on, you know, working on the spool. As you see, I'm using mat. I used to use one of the beading trays, and that was really nice, except for it just didn't always work for me. So don't ever think that you have to do it a certain way. I personally will just determine what size I'm going to use. I always add 2 inches, or roughly 2 inches, 1.5 to 2 inches on each side. So I'm going for 20 inch necklace. I cut 24 inches. That way it gives me room for, you know, errors. You know, like if I want to go a little longer, make the beads fit, but it also enables me to work from both sides. Yes, I'm one of those. I cannot work from just one side. So I'm just going to go ahead and start putting them on. And literally, this is, I mean, sometimes I'll lay out the beads and then I'll put them on. I will especially do that if I'm doing my wire wrapping necklace that I do, boho necklace, because I don't want to finish it off and then say, oh, no, I don't like this combination, or I don't like this way. There we go. I kind of like that. And so I'm going to add some color in here. I really like these O-rings here, because not only are they silver on one side, but they have a green tint on the other, and these other beads here have green tint in them also. So I decided to use them to help pull the bead, you know, the look together. I think I'm gonna do, I say I think because this is not finished. So what I'm going to do is just work one side, and I'm going to get my handy dandy, oh, I had everything ready except for this, my little bead bug that I use to keep my stuff from falling off. There we go. It's really handy dandy. I used to sell a lot of these at Michael's for them, and I did not get a commission. I should have. All right, so here we go. I'm just going to put these O-rings on. I'm just going to do different. I decided to do a few of them so that they give it a little character. I'm going to do this one where it goes out. There we go. So I'm going to start off a little small, just a little small. Now I think I'm going to pull in one of these smaller beads from the Obsidian Bead Strand. There we go. Then I'm going to go back to these. I'm going to look, it doesn't matter, okay. I'm just so weird. I'm not weird. I mean, there are a lot of people like me that like things to be like totally organized. I've said this before and I'll say it again. It is really hard for me to be spontaneous, like bead things randomly. I don't do random well. I have to think out my random, which I guess doesn't make it random anymore. Sorry if I'm blocking your view there. So I'm here. I'm kind of liking that. So now I'm going to start, let's see, adding something else. I am going to go with a wavy and use these kind of like a bead cap. And I'm going to go with my, all I'm thinking in my head is like, do, 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 that bead. There we go. And actually, first what I want to do, okay, I only have 2 of them. So I'll do wavy on one side, and then I'm going to, I need to really think about this now. Sorry, again, this is my OCD personality saying, but wait. All right, and then I'm going to do, I'll do one of these hematine. Just see what it looks like. Okay, let me think about that one, but I'm going to move on. And then let us add a few more of these black beads, because I like it to, I like to kind of start tying it in. And I don't know, I have too much green in the beginning here. So here I go. Like I said, this is my planning stage. Now I'm going to probably cut out and then jump ahead and then show you what I have. I just wanted you to see how it is I process what I'm doing. And I'm one of these. It's pretty. Okay, and so this is basically how it would go on. And as you can see, I might end up not using half of these beads that I have in the piles. I'm going to try to use all of these, but the other beads, the filler beads, I may not. You know, I think I'm going to take out one of these. So this is basically my thought process. So picture this, and then when I come back, I'll be working on, I'll be a little more, I think, satisfied with what I have here. Now, personally, I like chunky, so I'm a kind of extremist. I like chunky, and I like thin. And this, I like kind of like this. I would go with something like this, but it doesn't fit in with this chunky pendant. So anyways, I'll come back and I will show you where I'm at, probably finish one half and then show you how I match up on the other side. Okay, I am back. I have reworked the side that I want, and I didn't go all the way to the end yet because I know that what I'm going to be doing here is just a little bit more of what is right here. So I worked in the Jesse James beads I'm going to use. I've decided to use these for a bracelet and then save these for earrings. So this is the pile I'm going to be working of. And now all I'm going to do is put my little bead bug on this side so that I can work this side. I'm going to get this side on. And then that way, I'll be able to tell how much more on each side that I'm going to add before I finish it off. So here we go. I have things here that I can use, and then I'll grab from my piles as I need to. So just to give you an idea, try to let you in on the workings of my wart mine. I always like to go a little small in the beginning, just so that the pendant kind of is not overshadowed by bulkiness. And then I'll put in my bulky, but what I try to do is make it so that I don't have a bulky part right below my ear, or at least an isolated bulky thing. I call it the Frankenstein syndrome. If you look at some necklaces, and for me, I mean, if you're going to go bulky all over, or focus it in the beginning and then taper it off towards the end. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going with this flow, just matching what I have. Again, you can do random, and random probably would look actually totally awesome with a Twilight Zone necklace, but for me, I'm going to be just doing it, kind of matching my pattern. That's the way I am, and I'm okay with that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure across. I neglected to grab a finding for my end piece, like a toggle, which is probably what I'll use, because I'm so used to doing my long boho tassel chain, beaded chain, and I don't have a clasp on it. So I'm going to dig one up here in a minute, but I just wanted to show you that now what I would do and what I'm going to do is measure across, roughly measure across. I have, it's at about 11 inches, okay? So that will tell me that about 11 inches. There we go. So that means that I have 9 more inches. So that would be 4.5 more inches on either side to add stuff, which will include the toggle. So that's why I need to pick that out now, because some of my toggles are big, some of them are small, and I want to get, I have to factor the size of the toggle in, along with the crimp and all of that other stuff. So I will be back in, as far as you're concerned, a second. I got my other things that I needed, my crimped beads, my horseshoe wire protectors, and then I went chunky. I had to. I mean, I didn't have to. Part of the reason I go chunky on my clasps, and then I'm adding a ring to it, which that way I can add a dangle in the back. But I personally, I've been playing the cello for over 50 years. And so as you can tell with my knuckles, I have arthritis, and bigger is easier for me. I found it was easier for my mom too when I would fix, she had me change out. I didn't do them this big for my mom, but I did do larger lobster claws. But anyways, it's something to keep in mind if you're selling, that some people are going to buy your stuff. They may not buy it if you have teeny tiny little lobster claws. I know that I would always, even when I was younger, I would shy away from them. They're just like, I always had issues. But then, like I said, I've been playing the cello for over 50 years, and so after 20 years of playing, when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, I had to develop a little stiffness, definitely. All right, so I wanted to show you what my next step. Number one, I am like deathly afraid to do on camera, so I might not. I might cut away. A crimp tube, because it has been like forever since I've crimped, because I've been doing a lot of wire wrapping. So I wanted to practice a little. Yeah, even I practice. Yeah, still. All right. I mean, I still practice my cello too. So anyways, as you can see, I finished off what I wanted to do, my patterning. I went smaller towards the back, because again, it's at the back of my head. I want it to look nice. I gave it some patterning, but I didn't want to put my really special beads up in the back of my head. Though I have super short hair, so people would see them. You could just play that by ear or by neck. Okay, so here we go. I made my strung bead area about 18 inches, because this is about 1 3/4 inches between the two of these, and then my loop is going to be probably about I'm being optimistic that it's only going to be well, this is actually 1 3/4. Yeah, so this would be probably a little more than a quarter, but it'll give me roughly about the 20 inches that I was aiming for. And literally, you have to do that. You have to measure what it is you're clasping. Your clasp is going to be. I factor in usually about 1/2 inch for my loop, and then you'll get and then subtract that from the length you want, and then that's how many beads you would put on, or the length of your beads. Boy, my verbal skills are are dwindling. All right, so the other thing I want to show you, since this is my first side I'm going to be doing, if you notice I have one side's longer than the other, and you might be thinking, no, you need more of a tail in order to go through, yada, yada. Yeah, I do, but that's why I have this on here holding it. What I do is this way it gives me the freedom to you know, do what I need to do, and then I'll push the beads up onto this and try to have a lot more on this side. So that's my reasoning. This way it just gives me more moving room, wiggle room. The other thing you want to factor in is, do I want to connect my lobster claw and the loop directly to the necklace with, you know, putting them into these, which means that if you change your mind, you have to take the whole thing apart. You know, change your mind on your clasp, or you can put jump rings on it and connect it with jump rings, and then that way you can change what you're going to do. I personally, I'm gonna live dangerously, and I am gonna put it on permanently. And I'm just gonna feed all of this through, so I have my little horseshoe protector, wire protector. So here, see, I'm not going to go any further. This will be enough to tuck some of this in. I'm going to add my lobster claw, and in a minute I'll get rid of that ring. I don't need anything extra. Sorry, get to watch my fumbling around stage. This is the reason I didn't want to record myself, is like I can be such a klutz. Or like right now I'm really hungry, so I want to go eat, but I wanted to finish this, and so I'm distracted. There we go. Then I'm going to bring my crimp up, and there. What I'm trying to do is keep my wires so that they I can crimp, that they don't cross, which for me is the hardest thing to see. I do have a magnifying glass that I use when I bead. Ta-da! See how big it is. But this way they're separate there. Also, when you're making, if you choose not to use a wire protector, that's perfectly fine. Especially the thicker I think the wire it is, I mean, that's cool. But you still need to make sure you have a nice size teardrop. This is a big chunky clasp, and so you want this to be able to move freely. Never ever do it so tight that this doesn't move freely, or in this case this doesn't move freely, because if you do it super duper tight, then you will lose the mobility of your clasp, and you will risk the wire breaking at the clasp because it'd be too tight and you're going to have some added friction. So that's really key. I'm probably not saying anything that most of you guys don't know already. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the wires are not crossed. I was saying earlier, Meredith from Beadalon, which is the product that I use, the wire I use beadle on, and I use their crimp tubes and their wire protector. I just is really, it makes it a lot easier. They number code everything so that you match everything up so they fit. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to go to the back. I did say front earlier, and then I did double check while I was off camera. So I'm going to go to the back, and I'm going to, they crossed. I'm going to try to keep them. So this is the one frustrating thing for me. It's just like, you know, wire wrap, I can control it. This puppy is just like, they just keep going. This is where, forgive my uncoordinated Okay, come on. Whoops, I don't want to close it yet. All right, so I'm going to bring that. I think they're crossed. There, okay. There we go. Okay, go to the back and gently squeeze. But Meredith from Bead does this so good and so fast. Then I'm going to go to the front and I'm going to gently squeeze. And then I'm going to, and I turned it 1/4, and then I'm going to just gently squeeze. And hopefully this worked. Meredith makes it look so easy. Yay, and then I give it a gentle tug. I always recommend that you do that because a lot of my students in the beginning, they always think, oh, I got it. And then they'll go on to the other side, put it together, go to put it on, and the whole thing will fall off. And then we all cry, and then they start over again. I have a little more than I wanted to, but I'm going to add a, excuse me, a crimp cover in a minute. So what I'm going to do is put this, hopefully, there we go. I'm going to feed this through some of the beads. All right, and then I'm just going to gently pop this all down there, and I'll trim that at the end. I have a little piece of wire sticking out. I'll trim that at the end. Then I'm going to do the same, and if you look, now see how much I have here? This gives me a lot of room to work, and I need it. I mean, I know that supplies are expensive, and if you're trying to sell stuff, you don't want to overuse. You want to try to use it as minimally as possible. Can you see I practice too? All right, but anyways, but I like to have a room because there's nothing worse than having an itty bitty bit of a tail and trying to fit that through all of it, and it is a pain in the patootie. So I'm just going to gently lift it a little. There. Now I'm going to turn it 1/4 of the way and gently press, and then do it around. Okay. Yay, success. Oh, phew. Cut the wire as close to this one bead as possible without getting the other wire in there. That's another crying moment. If you do that, you would not be the first and you will not be the last. Yeah, there's a lot of gap here. Oh well. And then I hold the wire so it doesn't go flying. When you're working with people, I had one student who I used to have the dodge wires cutting. Okay, so now it's a little looser up here than I wanted it, but that's okay because I am going to be adding, actually just right. It's Goldilocks spacing. It's just right. There we go. Yeah, maybe a little more than I wanted. That's okay. So I go to my bigger ones, my square nosed here. They have another name. My brain is not letting me think of it. So I'm just going to go on. I'm going to cover it, and then I'm just going to gently squeeze. That was not gently squeeze. These puppies the crimp covers are hard. So I'm gently just working it, so I'm covering it. I'm going to gently squeeze this so they touch a little better. Anyways, and so I'm going to put the crimp covers on, and then I will be finished without trying not to get the obsidian bead. I'm going to work this so that I flatten this edge out here. I'm going to do the other one off tape, and then we'll get to some earrings. The crimp covers, which turned out pretty good. Okay, so this is how it would look. I don't know if you can see that, but now I'm going to do two things. I'm going to make a little dangle. I like to finish my pieces off with little dangles. I'm just funny that way. I don't need these anymore, so I'm going to move these to the side. so I don't flick them all over the place. All right, and so for the little dangle, what I'm going to do is I think I'll just do, I haven't used these yet. And I might not. They might not fit on this. Oops, sorry. There we go. Okay. So I like to, I want to put a little bead there so that my bigger bead won't go through over the head. I'm not going to use that bigger bead. I'm just going to use a black. Stick to my theme, my black. Obsidian. And then maybe some of these greenish silver O-rings. Again, I always say maybe, and that's because I have the right to change my mind. All right, and then finish it off there. Okay, so this is going to be my dangle. And then I'm going to, probably using the same small one here, I'm going to make some earrings. But this time I am going to use some bead caps, but my little stripy glass beads there. The bead cap. Now I want to add some black to it, kind of tie it all in. And I'm thinking I might use, well, first I'm going to add this other small one. And then I might use, I haven't used them yet, but I might use these round obsidian beads. They're kind of funky because they're not, look at, they're really awkward sizes, some of them. They're not perfectly round. So we would probably call these C or D grade. There we go. There, I like that because what's going to happen is at the top is going to be my silver wrap. All right. I think I like that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to wrap it around this loop to finish it off. This one it is. This is a little longer than some of my drops, but that's okay because this is a statement piece. I'm all right with that. I'm going to get my round nose pliers, and then I am going to come about here. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to try to make a bigger loop. And if I was making it for my earrings, you'll see that I'll be more down here, but I'm going to make it a bigger loop because I'm going around a fatter wire. So I want this to dangle pretty good too. So I'm just going to come around. Now, once again, you have one of two things. You can finish off this loop and then attach it to this with a jump ring. I am not. I am going to, you're going to watch me fumble around and try to get this puppy on here. Wait, and I have an escapee. So I'm going to just hook this on. There we go. And this is the other reason I wanted a bigger loop, because I need to still be able to hold it. So now I am going to wrap it. That's one. Two. And I've been liking, and I'm going to straighten this out a little here. I've been liking kind of the messy, the fatter wrap look. So I'm going to go back over it towards the top. And that's the reason I use such a long head pin. I'm going to come back, see if I can do it. There we go. And then I'm going to finish off. And I'm just going to keep straightening that as I go because it is bending a little. There we are. And now I'm going to tuck it. Everybody says to tuck it in. I call it rounding it off. I'm just going to get it so that it's not sticking out. The end isn't sticking out. What I might also do is trim a little of that off. And get as close as you can without getting any other wire. I'm putting my finger over it so it doesn't go flying, because if you walk around your room barefooted, which I probably don't because of escapee pieces, you know, you might find some of these sharp pieces on the floor if you're not careful. Okay, there. All right, I'm probably taking it out of range. I'm so sorry. I'm still a newbie doing these videos. Okay. I need my magnifying glass. There we go. Okay, so now I have this cute little dangle. There we go. And when it's on your neck, it just will lie there and just be a little added, you know, detail, nicety. I usually always add a dangle. I'll do them to my memory wire bracelets too. And now this, there we go here. This is me, klutzy me. Okay, so now I am going to finish these off. And this time I'm not going to make the loops as big. I'm just going to go, these are kind of thinnish round nose pliers. So I'm just going to go, I go here. You find the spot that makes you happy, you know, that has the size where you make the size loop that you want. I know I've seen some people, they mark theirs. I have actually marked mine. It just wears off. So I just kind of do a rough guesstimate. The spontaneity. Then I'm wrapping it around, and then I'm going to come back and wrap a couple times, straighten my loop out, and then come back and continue wrapping. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to double wrap that, you know. Come back on top, make it a big fat chunky thing. I'm glad that I don't have my camera facing my window, because my husband decided to park our van right in front of my window, which is way far away from the driveway, to wash the car. I'm living in Texas now, so it is still hot. There we go. Definitely different than the Central Coast of California. But where I'm living, it's green. And where I lived on the Central Coast of California, it was not. There we go. So now I'm going to tuck in that wire. I like to feel how sharp it is too, because if it's super duper sharp, here, let me fix it. If it's super duper sharp, again, sorry if I'm taking it out of, you're probably yelling, put that back. If it's super duper sharp, then it'll scratch, so I would file it down. All right, there we go. There's one dangle. And I'm going to do the other the same way. I don't want to drag this out for you. And I'm going to come back with the finished product. So I finished my earrings, and I've added the silver-filled ear wires. Silver-filled ear wires have a special coating on them also, so that they're hypoallergenic. I'm tired. And that way, people who are more sensitive to metals can wear these. I have friends who are super bad allergies, skin allergies, and metals can make the breakout. And these they can wear. So I also wear them because every once in a while with my immune system, if it gets really low, I become allergic to everything too. So anyways, I like to go shorter on my earrings when I'm wearing necklaces. I don't like to take away from the necklace, my earrings to take away from the necklace. If I'm going to wear big and bold earrings, which actually is a preference of mine, then I don't do necklaces usually. But I have friends who do. So you do you. If you wanted to, you can make these longer. You could use bigger beads. If I had another black one, I might have used that. Again, I'm going to make a necklace later on, and I'll take a picture of it and put it on Jessie James Beads and my own Facebook page. But anyways, this is how they look with the dangle. It turned out really fun, and I really loved the Bead Strand. This again was for my August design ambassador kit. And yeah, and with a few of my September ones in there. If you want to have it, if you have any questions, you can always ask me on my social media sites, or on the Jesse James Bead site on Facebook, or my site on Facebook, which is Sparkles a Lot Too. I'm also on Instagram and Pinterest and Etsy, at, oh, go figure, Sparkles a Lot Too. So, drop me a line, let me know what you think, and please try not to judge me too harshly on this video. It's only my second one. I had students who really wanted me to do them, and I was like, no, because I just say too much, and I'll just mess up all the time. But oh well, it is what it is, and I can edit it. Yeah. So anyways, have a good rest of the weekend, and I'll see you next time.